Hey YouTube, so this video is some to help everyone out. You know, the problem with the Tahoes and the Chevys and the GMCs with the recalibration of the AC, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This is a perfect example. By the way, this is a worst case scenario for me. I'm pretty much still, you know, in dang near pajamas, just comfortable clothes, didn't even shave, on my way to Florida just real quick, and it happened to me during the trip. So if it worked for me, hopefully it'll work for you. And so basically, if the passenger vents are on heat, stuck on heat, you can't get them back to cold. And you could probably do the same trick if it was vice versa. If the driver's side was stuck on heat and didn't want to go back to cold. Now this is if you've already tried to recalibrate. Again, I apologize, it's not really a how-to, it's just something that worked for me. I'll get to it, but this is after watching a couple of those how-to videos, and you know, you've recalibrated it and maybe it worked for a minute, maybe it didn't, or maybe it got stuck, or whatever the case may be. Anyway, there's videos out there that show you how to recalibrate. There's videos out there that will tell you where to find the blend door actuator for the driver's side, which is the easier one to get to. There's videos out there for the passenger side blend door actuator, which is a little difficult, but you don't have to rip the airbag out, rip the dash out. You don't have to do any of that stuff if you want it, if you don't need full control of that side. Meaning, if it's stuck on heat and you want it back on air, we can put it back on air and leave it there, but you won't be able to control that side back to heat unless you actually replace that blend door actuator. So again, this is just one of those deals where you can fix it, you can get going, and then when you have time to bust all that in there to get these actuators out, you can. Long story short, here we go. How to fix it. I watched a video on how to recalibrate mine, and it worked. As soon as I put it in drive and started driving down the road, it went back to heat and got stuck on heat. Then I started watching videos on blend door actuators. There was a gentleman that I found who, if I get his name, I can maybe link it to where he said it was a quick fix, and I took a look at it and he was pretty much right on. I just found another shortcut on top of what he already did. So basically what he did was he disconnected the plug for the passenger side actuator and then took a small screwdriver and manually rotated the blend door little by little all the way to the furthest right, which would allow the blend door to go to cold. Now obviously, it being unplugged, it's gonna stay that way. He even plugged it in after manually rotating it all the way to the right, and right away, as soon as you put the key in the ignition, the computer recognized it and it immediately tried to recalibrate, and doing that, it got stuck on heat again. So all I did on top of what he did is, instead of cutting your hands up, and I don't have the smallest hands, but busting up your knuckles and doing all that stuff to try to manually rotate and spin that little knob up top, which again you'll see once you're in there. Guess what? I used the computer's recalibration process to do it for me. Now, I'm assuming I got a few busted teeth in there or something to where it's not spinning all the way back. And so I'm thinking to myself, instead of manually trying to do it little by little with a screwdriver to get it rotated all the way to the furthest right, why not let the recalibration process do it for me? And as soon as I feel during the recalibration process that the vents are at its coldest, I hurry up and unplugged that actuator. Now again, one thing I did do is I released, prior to doing this, I released the locks of the plug and so I didn't fully click it all the way down. I put it in there just enough to where I know the contacts were making contact. And that way, as the recalibration process is doing its job and it's winding back that bad actuator to the coldest, or maybe you're up north and you need it to the hottest, once you feel it on the vents, reach in there, hurry up, unplug it. Boom. Now it is set to the furthest point, whichever way you need it to go, because you can do it vice versa, AC or heat, again, based off of what you got going on. And that's it. I'm back on the road, headed to Florida, which is going to be well over 90 degrees, and need to have that AC going. So that's it. Hope everything works out for you as it did for me. It got me out of a bind. And again, my contribution to YouTube, since I got to watch so many videos. Thanks.